Welcome back. Welcome back to Orange Nation. Room at the top on Adamant Day. Guessing Griffin Cook has no idea who Adamant is, Steve.
Probably not. Different generation. But we are pleased to be joined right now by senior midfielder on the SU men's lacrosse team, Griffin Cook, the local product, kid from JD, joining us here on the show. Not a kid anymore. He's a young man in his senior season here with the Orange. Griffin, great to have you on. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm doing well.
You're a kid to me. I've been covering you since, you were, a freshman in high school. So it's great to have you on. Listen, I'm going to get into your season and in just a second here, but you were sitting on hold while we were listening to those last couple of phone calls. And I'm just curious because you dealt with a similar thing toward the end of John Desco's era and the transition into a new coach. How much does that weigh on the players when you've got this Hall of Fame legendary coach and the results, maybe aren't what they used to be, and you're starting to hear the criticism? Does that weigh on the players? Like, do you guys hear that outside noise?
Yeah, we do our best to just try and tune that out, but there's always going to be a little bit of a transition period when you change coaching staffs, but this year's been a lot better than last in terms of that.
Yeah, so along those lines, and we've talked to a couple of the players. I had Coach Gate on the show a few weeks back, and everybody seems to say the same thing, that this year does feel different. How is this year's team? How does it feel different from last year?
I just think there's a lot more ball movement. There's something in the air up in Cuse this year, and we're playing really unselfish. There's a couple of things we need to clean up, a couple of mistakes here and there, but I think things are trending in the right direction.
All right, 5 games in, you started 3-0. You beat Vermont, Albany, Holy Cross, and then a couple of ranked opponents. And you put up a fight and came close against both Maryland and North Carolina, came short in those games. But what did you learn, I guess, from these last 2 games in particular? Playing Maryland on the road, playing North Carolina at home. You see some of the better teams in the country. What did you guys learn about yourselves?
I think we learned that we're a young team, and, you can look at those losses one of 2 ways. We look at it as kind of a nice learning opportunity, especially for the younger guys on the team. They get to kind of feel what it's like to be on both sides of the stick. So it's going to be a great learning opportunity, and we're excited to come out against Duke this weekend.
You mentioned that you're a young team. You're one of the veterans on this young team. Do you find that your role has kind of changed going into this year in terms of taking guys under your wing and showing everybody the ropes? It wasn't too long ago that you were in their shoes, and now you're one of the leaders on this team. Has your role changed at all?
Yeah, it's been awesome. The younger kids have just been great this year. They really listen to what all the older guys have to say, and everybody's really bought in this year.
Could you talk about some of those young guys? And obviously Joey Spallina came in with so much hype, and he's lived up to that hype so far. What's it like playing with? Yes, they're young, but it's a talented group, isn't it?
Yeah, they're, like you said, it's a very talented group. Spallina is one of the hardest workers that I've ever met, and some of the guys that kind of fly under the radar, Finn Thompson and Luke Roa, they work just as hard as Joey, and they're doing a great job.
Year 2 under Gary Gate. What's it been like playing for maybe the best lacrosse player in the history of the game?
It's been awesome. Some of the things that he says, I think, takes a little bit for some of the guys to understand, maybe a little bit more explanation. But he's been amazing, and he just lets us play really loose and play really free and do whatever we want as long as it works.
I know last year didn't go the way anybody wanted it to, and that must have been tough. Going to Syracuse, you didn't have a 4-win season on your mind. What was it like, I guess, going through last year? What did you learn from last year about maybe yourself and being able to face adversity? And have you guys used what happened last year as fuel and motivation into this year, or do you just try to chalk it up to it was one of those seasons, you forget about it and you move on?
Probably a little bit of both. There was a lot of injuries last year, and with the change in the coaching staff, there's just a lot going on. But I think everybody got to take kind of a different perspective on the sport and, really reassess their attitude coming into this season.
What is a realistic goal in your mind, Griffin, for this team this year? Is NCAA tournament? I mean, I assume it's a goal. Do you feel like it's attainable with this group?
Yeah, I think that we can go as far as we want this year. There's definitely a different feeling around this team, and I think it's just going to come down to the younger guys and the older guys too, but just being a little bit more disciplined in big games. But I think that the sky's the limit with this group. You
mentioned big games. You got another one coming up this weekend. 4:00 start on Sunday against a Duke team that's 5th in one poll, 6th in another. I know that you're busy preparing for these guys. What can you tell us about the Blue Devils? What stands out to you about them?
Yeah, they're a great team. Their attack is really doing the bulk of their scoring, so we just got to try and contain those guys, but we're really excited to get another shot at another top 10 team.
What's it been like for you personally, being a local kid who grew up in this town and a local product and, went to JD and lived out his dream of being able to play at Syracuse University? What's this experience been like for you as you enter another year at Syracuse?
It's been amazing. Like you said, it's a dream come true. Just getting to play in front of my family and people that I've known my whole life. It's been amazing. And, the Dome is just one of the best atmospheres in college lacrosse. So it's been a really cool experience. And, yeah, it's just been amazing.
When you were growing up here, I'm sure you'd go to plenty of games inside the Dome and you'd see the place packed and, playing big games week in and week out. Do you guys have a message for the fan base about, where this team is, where the program is, and where you hope it to take it either at the end of this season or moving forward? Do you have any sort of message for the fan base to kind of, believe in you guys here moving forward?
Yeah, I'd say we've got a lot of potential, and the fans coming out and supporting, being loud it really does a lot for the team's morale, and especially in the big games when the Dome gets rocking. I think it brings a little bit of an intimidation factor for the other team. So, come out and support.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, as we mentioned, another big one this weekend, 4:00 inside the Dome on Sunday between Syracuse and Duke. Griffin, it was a pleasure having you on. Thanks so much for coming on. Best of luck this weekend and throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Griffin Cook, senior midfielder for the SU men's lacrosse team. Again, a team that's 3-2 right now. They beat the 3 unranked opponents that they played, Paulie, and then fell to the 2 ranked opponents. But, gave them both a good game. I think we've seen this team take a step forward. They are young, but let's see if they can get it done this weekend. They are fun to watch, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Steve. I was rating the match game.
Okay.
During that whole segment.
That's
if we
fine.
played Polly and the Professor right now,
you would fail miserably.
I would fail miserably.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Let's hit another break then. We've got Stan Cotton, the voice of Wake Forest basketball. He'll join us on the other side as we kick off hour number 2 next on ESPN Radio.